Hey everybody, today's date is March 11th, 2020. This is Dominic D'Angelo of WrestleZone.com, by the way. Yeah, and I just got done watching AEW, all the while getting coronavirus updates. An insane amount of coronavirus updates, including the ban from Europe, excluding the UK, NBA suspending its season. Geez, there's another one. Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson getting the corona. That's not good. Crazy times. I said this on Twitter too. WWE has to postpone WrestleMania. I don't think they have an option. And that was even before the NBA season got suspended was announced. I think if part of their fan base cannot attend the show that bought tickets to go to the show, they should not have the show. It seems. Otherwise, it's just like stubborn and pig-headed to do. And I don't put that past Vince McMahon, but still, aside from, laws and regulations changing that, they gotta, I would voluntarily postpone WrestleMania for the time being. It just makes sense. So, all right, let's get to AEW Dynamite. It was a great show. I liked last week's better, but there was definitely some take-home aspects of it, including one of my favorites, Lance Archer, debuting today. So it's pretty cool to see that. But let's get to it. First off, liked the nice little opener promo with Hangman, teasing his animosity and everything, and tension with the Young Bucks, and Matt Jackson in particular. And then kind of leaving the surprise that, hey, he's got a mystery opponent or mystery partner with him. So good stuff. Okay, opening match, Cody Rhodes versus Ortiz of Proud and Powerful. Start off with seeing Santana's Roberto Clemente shirt, being a Pittsburgher. I really appreciate that. And from Puerto Rican descent, so it's very cool. Roberto Clemente is one of the all-time greatest athletes, just all around, from a personal perspective, from his personal life and philanthropy to just the influence he had in baseball and the untimely death. So cool to see that. Also cool to see Ortiz in a singles match. I thought Revolution really highlighted both Santana and Ortiz just being an effective key aspect of the Inner Circle and the vibe that it gives off. And so putting guys like Ortiz and Santana in singles matches only cements their value to the faction, I believe. Like I mentioned just a couple minutes ago, Lance Archer came out with Jake the Snake, sat down at ringside, and just from a visual aspect, a perfect tandem, like perfect manager. You don't know what these guys are going to be up to, and Lance Archer, just his work in New Japan has been fantastic, and what he's created for himself as a persona, a look, his moveset, all very, very solid, and all something that's very, very, that'll be cool to kind of translate through that channel of Jake the Snake being at his side. So looking forward, really, really looking forward to seeing what they do with that. Lance Archer's going to be a star, and is not that he isn't already, but he's going to be even bigger in AEW. So, and no interference by their part, I thought was a good move on the booking aspect of things. Just have him out there, kind of have him tease something, then just have him leave mid-match, and then the attention gets turned a lot more right back on the focus, which is in the ring. So, yeah, good little aspect to that. And then I really enjoyed the tap out to the figure four. Put it over the figure four. There's nothing wrong with that. And establish that as a move that you can see people tapping out to. Because from then on, anytime it gets locked in, you just don't know. You just don't know what's going to happen. And you want to see that kind of unpredictability and build that kind of like the unknown of what could exactly happen. Obviously, then all the friends show up to help out Cody, and just really cool stuff too, I think, with cutting out to the Inner Circle and showing Nick Jackson with the blood in his mouth, and just adds to their villainous, their villain aspect of things. Next up was the Shida and Chris Statlander match against Nyla Rose and Bea Priestley. Always good to see Bea Priestley back. I think she's a really good talent. You can tell JR really likes her and put her over big throughout the match. She's just got a good moveset, good solid work behind her. A very, I think, will soon to be intricate part to the women's division, and hopefully we see more of her, despite her living in Japan. So again, the awesome head scissor hold that she did that let us in from the break. And I want to mention, too, that JR does a really good job with when the commercials are about to come on to really promote you. Hey, stick around for the picture-by-picture or picture-in-picture thing. I think he does a really good job at that. And that's something I don't think that should go understated. I think it's kind of valuable in today's the way people consume media. Hey, stick around. You can still see it. It's right here. The ads are there and they're bigger, but whatever. The match is still going on. And it's a live sport that you want to watch. Shida, I just like her. I like her presence. I like her look. I feel that if utilized right and handled right, I know she took the pinfall tonight, but she could be a top star in the division coming up. I would like to see how she acts either with the manager on the mic or however, because Asuka and Kairi Sane, they do a good job delivering, even though you don't exactly know, what they're saying unless you know Japanese. So, the crowd was really into this match, and yeah, it just speaks for what. Once they get the ball turning with some of this stuff in the women's division, I think things will be all right. I think they just need to build up their roster in regards to that. They just got to get some more talents in there. Don't be afraid to kind of just go out there and try to get some people and try them out or whatever you need to do. Because I think you have the core percolating a little bit, and you're picking and choosing, and I think that's a good thing to do. Yep, Nyla Rose got the Beast Bomb and got the win with that. And then we got a little vignette with Daniels and parodying the Dark Order vignettes that they've been doing, and creative take on it. Daniels, I always liked Daniels since the TNA days, and it's cool to see how he's kind of evolved his persona. And he can always go back to a different kind of persona too. So he shows his versatility in that. And yeah, I think him as almost the face, almost in a way, of SCU is good to have. And I'm sure Kazarian and Scorpio Sky, really enjoy having him by their side and kind of just being in that featured role in the long run. Only thing that it kind of got nixed anyways at the end because they announced that the Exalted One would be supposedly revealed next week. But the way Daniels pitched it is he would want to face both Stu Grayson and Evil Uno and beat them both. So coming away from that, I'm like, well, they're prolonging the Exalted One further. And I kind of feel it's almost getting to be that time where they do reveal who it is. Next up was the Jurassic Express match against the Butcher, the Blade, and MJF. This match, I'm kind of in the middle with. There was some good aspects. Obviously, Luchasaurus is very over. MJF does a great job. And I think it was really, really, really smart on their part to allow Jungle Boy to get the hot tag and get that fire shown, and he did show that fire. So just a future star in the business, and I think positioning him in the right thing. The critiques I have about this match, it was, first off, very scary spot from Luchasaurus diving onto the outside. He almost hit his neck right off the apron. It was scary. It was scary to see. Happy birthday to him, 65 million and 1 years old today. Or maybe he's 35. I can't remember which was which. But here's the thing. So they utilized Marco Stunt in it. And I think the intention and what they had planned for it was appropriate in the way you handle a wrestler and a talent like Marco Stunt. I keep comparing him to Spike Dudley with the Dudley Boys, and I thought Spike was a valuable part to the Dudleys, and just in the same realm, I think Marco can be a valuable aspect of Jurassic Express if handled properly. So their intention was good, but the execution of it, I think, harmed what they were trying to do in certain regards, because a lot of the things that they were doing, whether it was dives off the top rope to dives onto the outside to what we ended up seeing, a really botched pinfall. Now, I didn't see the pinfall count get made, so I don't know if Aubrey stopped the 3 count or if if they kicked out, because the breakup was delayed because of like almost a telegraphed athletic high flying spot that they were trying to do. I think it was like tossing. I think it was Jungle Boy or Marco on top of the pin, and it was so delayed and just really, really hurt the match. And you got to be careful too, because if Aubrey did not continued the count like she should have, it hurts her reputation too, and you don't want that to happen. Because I even said this last week. Aubrey does a great job at showing that steadfast refereeing and officiating that I think AEW's done a pretty darn good job overall establishing, not just by the ring work of the officials, but naming the referees and getting them across as people of authority. So I think the Marco Stunt stuff can work. I really, really think they should kind of pump the brakes on a lot of the high flying spots if it's going to come off as telegraphed, and a few of those were, unfortunately. So that's my thoughts on that. Next up, I think was the Darby Allin little thing. I liked it. Always creepy with the cardboard or paper masks that he has of Sammy and Jericho. He did that with Cody too. So creepy vibe, but Darby's cool, man. It's and I like that they followed up with what he did last week. So cool, and they kind of do that a little bit later too, which we'll get to. So yeah, neat stuff. Next up was the Britt Baker and the Big Swole confrontation. Really, just like I said last week, really enjoy Britt as a heel. I think what she was talking about during her promo, kind of implying that a lot of the Utah fans were inbreds, and just playing up. Like, I love the fact that she even like really leans in on the fact of her dentistry and stuff, and just makes that part of her heel persona. So plus, taking a dig at sugar and stuff, it's what a dentist would do. You didn't go to the dentist and he'd give you a lollipop. You get a toothbrush, or you get some dental floss, or like a little fun-sized toothpaste or something. Not the sugar, man. So yeah, I like the husband call out. It was good stuff with Soul, and yeah, it's neat stuff. Again, building up some names in the women division, and I think that's good to do. So next up, we had the next triple tag match with Joey Janela and Private Party going up against the Death Triangle, making their faction in-ring debut. So starting off, I saw the picture-in-picture commercial, thanks to JR, and I took note of Joey Janela's look, and I just really like his look at the moment. And I do not think that his physique is a very big problem at all. Like, you get those guys in the ring, you have different body types, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And it's like, I've seen a lot more people, talents in the ring that aren't, in the shape that Joey Janela is, and not that Joey Janela is even in a bad shape. He's in good shape, so I think it's fine. I did not like them getting pinned and beaten by the Death Triangle. I know you want to get the Death Triangle over and, making wins and losses count. You don't want a DQ finish, obviously. But I almost feel like you get a trio of wrestlers that don't have some cachet, or that you kind of want to invest in. Because, there's certainly traction in Janela, and there's certainly traction and obviously value in Private Party too. They're both, and the way that you want to get, like I said, the Death Triangle over heavy, but having them like just kind of, I don't want to say demolished because they were competitive, but at the end really laying it in thick of their dominance with like that triple submission hold and everything on all of them. It kind of like puts Private Party and Janela in a position that I'd like to see them just be more in a higher spot after that. Next up, the Dustin promo. Well, one of my favorite aspects of the night. Just short, sweet, impassioned, and had that fire, man. Just a quick veteran promo. I love his incorporation of let's do some cowboy shit, like get fired up, announcing that he was going to be the tag team partner of Hangman Page on this very night. So, let me get to my next set of pages here. I write them down on, of all things, a sketchbook, so I'm trying to, and I didn't want to write over a sketch I made, so I had to like call an audible where I was writing stuff. Okay, here it is. So, next up was the Moxley sit-down promo with JR. I like that stuff. Anytime you have interviewers sit down and just have a conversation with the talent, I think adds to the variety of what you see on wrestling television, and puts the talent in a pretty good spot. And Mox was solid in his promo. Didn't really say anything super duper like eyebrow raising or anything like that, but you don't necessarily need that. I think it was good overall. I think Mox will further widen his ability in those environments, and having that kind of free range, so to speak, to kind of develop and show his persona and who he is on an elevated level, something that might have been pretty stifled. Well, as he's indicated before, was stifled in WWE. So seeing him able to flex that ability to talk and kind of put himself as the world champion, but with that Mox aspect of violence and unpredictability, he'll show it. He'll flex it out. So it'll be good. Main event time. Dustin Rhodes and Adam Hangman Page are taking on Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara. Really cool. Just overall, a great match, a great main event to have. First aspect I liked of it was just Jericho playing up, mocking Hangman Page with "I'm a cowboy" and he's drinking beer on the outside. Really funny moment and stuff. Jericho's just great at that stuff. I wrote on Twitter, I was like, somebody's got to make a meme of this. Not a meme, I'm sorry, a GIF. Really funny. Before that, I really liked the tension that Hangman showed against Dustin. And Dustin's like, "Hey, come on, let's work together. We got this. Cool little thing. I just like those aspects of matches and character dynamic. Sammy gets so much rub from Chris Jericho. It's great. Like, I wrote this because Sammy did his spinning Burt Reynolds in Cosmopolitan pose, and Jericho leaned up on him and just patted him on the chest and stuff. It's good to see that. Again, that's going to serve Sammy well for years to come. And something that didn't really click with me until the match moved on was Dustin squaring up against Jericho. It's neat to still see two guys that still can wrestle at pretty much the top of their game, and Dustin especially, and Jericho, as still that star. Both are still stars, and seeing those guys kind of go up against one another was just a neat note to make. When the years pass on with AEW, and as it moves on and talents and their roster changes, it'll be neat to kind of revert back to that and see that was when Dustin went up against Jericho there. The cool stuff. I'd like to see them in a singles match again too. That'd be really cool. Adam Page can hit, man. He can punch. Coming up from this, I may make mention of this because Jericho was on the outside and Adam kind of was getting tossed back in the ring, but he changed the momentum and came back and slugged Jericho. Just a neat, hard hitting. You almost feel the television shake when that happens. Cool win for Dustin and Hangman, especially that they, teased the tension beforehand and they still ended up winning despite all that. Yeah, really well done. And just not, I don't want to say unlikely alliance, but the alliance between the two, it's just neat to see. And then Jake Hager really just highlights himself as a presence too, where, just nailing Cody down with that gut wrencher, power slam, that elevated power slam that he does. It just shows you what a viable force he is for the Inner Circle too. The Inner Circle is I think, I'm trying to think. Yeah, it's probably my favorite faction in all of wrestling right now. So, and I want to say, I think they have the coolest T-shirt. And I don't mean the Guns N' Roses one's cool. Don't get me wrong. But I like the spray painted Inner Circle logo kind of deal. I think that's a pretty badass shirt. I mean, if you're gonna invest in a wrestling shirt nowadays, that might be the one to roll with, I would say, for the time being. No doubt about it. So. Overall, I decided when I do these reviews, I'm gonna do an MVP for the night. My MVP for the night, Dustin Rhodes, man, cutting that promo, being in the main event, and just furthering developing that story with Hangman, whether he's super involved with it or not. We saw more of that post-match when Matt Jackson came to the aid of Hangman, still flipped Hangman off. Just that tension is so great, and I think they plenty of legs with that. Plenty of legs to do with it. But yeah, Dustin is my MVP for the night. Overall rating, I'm gonna give it an 8.1. 8.1 out of 10. So yeah, good show. Always, and today, before even, when I was at my other job working, I kept thinking, oh, Dynamite's on tonight. And, it's been a while since I've gotten that kind of tinge of consistent excitement to watch wrestling week in and week out. I'm looking forward to a program. I mean, obviously, I do get that with MLW because I work for them and write for them, but and they have an awesome product. But as a mainstream, big time wrestling product that is on a big network and stuff, this has been a long time coming. And I haven't had that kind of feeling for a while, so I'm super into AEW, super into what they're doing, and little kinks they still need to work out, but, as we've seen, they've progressed from October on and addressed some problems and challenges and have kind of took ownership of them. So I'm sure this will continue on, and I'm sure there will be more critiques coming, but also, overall the positives and the praise, I think, outweighs the critiques by a ton. So, yeah. So that's my thoughts for tonight. Stay safe with all the Corona stuff happening. I'm supposed to go down to Tampa. I don't know if I'm going to or not, still mulling that over. I'll probably make that decision here coming up. But I hope all the best for any of the talents that need to make money and get their word out, their name out there. So I certainly hope that, for their sake, whether I go or not, that they'll be able to make some money down in Tampa through the collective, through WrestleCon, and through all the other events that are going on, because there's some pretty darn cool stuff. There's some darn cool stuff that's happening outside of WrestleMania. My plan wasn't even to go to WrestleMania, honestly, if I were to go down there. It was to cover all those events around it. So, just all the best to those guys and to the promoters there and everything. So, if you want to follow me on Twitter, you can follow me at Dominic D'Angelo. That's DOMINIC DEANGELO. Follow WrestleZone on Twitter at WrestleZone.com. If you've been keeping tabs, you'll know that we have WrestleZone March Mania happening, and it all circles around who's got the best entrance theme. So we'll be revealing those brackets very soon, and we've had some play-in matches. So to who's going to make the bracket, what songs will make the bracket. So we had Undertaker's biker gimmick songs. Roland and Kid Rock American Badass go up against one another. Roland gets in over Kid Rock. Then we had Sheamus's themes. So his Lobster Head and the Fella theme. Lobster Head took it out by a country mile, an Irish country mile. And then Today, jeez, this is a tight race. And almost, you could make an argument for either one of these almost being the best wrestling theme in general. It's Chris Jericho's theme, so Break the Walls Down and Judas up against one another. I am not kidding when I say this. The race is so tight. Twitter, I believe Judas is winning on Twitter by like a 51-49 margin. And then on Facebook, Break the Walls Down is winning by a 52-48 margin. How crazy is that? And we've had like at least 1,000 votes on Facebook. I don't know what Twitter's up to, but it started off really hot, so it'll be interesting to see where that goes. So keep your lookout for that. The brackets will be dropping probably later this week. All things going according to plan. So other than that, keep tabs on WrestleZone Radio. You can subscribe onto that. That's how you'll hear this stuff, where I'll be reviewing more stuff. And you'll hear the WrestleZone Daily on there that Kellen always does a great job, has guests on there, and Kev gets his share of interviews as well. So tune in for that. Tune in for any exclusive interviews that we got on there as well. I just finished one with Stephen P. New, the attorney for Jim Cornette. I got both sides of the case. I got G. Raver's side through his attorney, Max Petrunia, also known as David Lawless in the ring. And now I have Stephen P. News, so you can get both sides of the case. Get invested, man. Better Call Saul shit happening. All right. So with that, I wish you well and keep safe from the corona. All right.